Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys are doing? I just want to make sure that I give you guys some another option to use for the AP exam coming up this year, and this option is really going to be based off of what I did here with the if you look on the left hand side of the screen, what I did with the sample paper that I did, and also what I did here with the new document. So let me get into that real quick, okay? So if you look here on the left side of the screen, remember this was a sample paper. I did a video on this a little bit earlier where I used some documents and I actually wrote the paper out. You recall from this video, I did everything in color coding. And these color codes, what I did is try to match the best I could over here on the AP exam checklist reflection. So what's going to happen here with this is that anybody that completes this, again, with the idea is try to help you grade out. This is going to count for your final exam. So what you would do, you by the end of that weekend, so the test is next Friday, May 15th, by the 16th, 17th, and 18th, by the May 18th, by 11:59 p.m. What you need to do is go ahead and submit this to Google Classroom, as well as uploading your paper that you completed for the AP exam. Okay, and let's go into this checklist. All right, so the first part you're gonna do is have your thesis. This is gonna be highlighted in purple, and what you're gonna do here is really answer the full question from the prompt. Restate what, where, when, plus make an argument in the categories. I gave you guys the same thesis formula that I gave you in the DPQ outline paper as well. So within time period of DPQ, two significant skills and topics of the prompt were the arguments were the argument group one and argument group two. So here's an example. Within 1900, two specific transformations brought by new technologies were the rise of international trade organizations and the increased globalization due to the internet. Okay, so you just basically use that and check off what you did, and then give yourself a point on that. And if you did not do it, what you would do is just write down here in this section here, explain why you did not do it or what happened during the writing. Again, this is a reflection. You do this after you complete the test. Okay, but you also have this on next to you as you print this off and next to you on the test. That way you have it as a guide. Okay, it's just gonna bring on the left so you guys can see what I did here again, just to make it more clear, just so you can remember, hey, this is what I did already before. It was just in the other video that I did where I gave you guys the sample writing. All right, contextualization. This should be the start of the introductory paragraph. You want to highlight this in blue. Okay. Here, you make sure it's 3 to 5 sentences. Discuss broad global events that occur before or during the events of prompt. Helps connect event to the prompt to the bigger picture. So what I did here is I amended something that I found in one of my group chats for AP US History, and I kind of attempted to make it based off the outline and also what I did over here on the left as far as the sample paper, which I also took for one of my group chats. And the goal here is to use what you have here as far as score material criteria is what College Board gave us as far as how they can regrade you. The next thing is going to be evidence. This is going to be highlighted in green. All right, this is when you use the documents. So scribe doesn't use quote to documents, use docs to address the question. Remember I told you guys, in this case here, make sure you don't quote. I want you guys just to simply paraphrase, which means you'll be clear and free of any kind of plagiarism issues. So you'll be using your own words, but make sure you still cite the documents at the end. So like say, let's look at this example here to the left. So you got document one here, right? It's a letter from Rhode Island Assembly to Congress. So here's an example would be, you say, according to document one, letter from Rhode Island Assembly, you have parentheses 1782. That's fine. Or you just says here, according to the letter from Rhode Island Assembly to Congress, in parentheses document one, that's fine too. Just make sure you really reference those one way or another, okay? You also want to make sure that the scribe doesn't just quote docs and uses them to support an argument that answers the question. The scribe not just quotes 4 documents, uses these 4 documents to support an argument that answers the question. So you remember in the outline format that I gave you guys, that I say you got to use at least 4 documents. That's our goal, because remember you're supposed to use 2 documents per your body paragraph. So in essence, what you're going to have is really only going to be 4 paragraphs, really 3. You have your introduction, which would be contextualization and thesis. You have your 2 body paragraphs where you really fill in the rest of this document. And then you have that 5th paragraph, quote unquote 5th. But the main thing you do in there is just restating your thesis statement, because of time constraints looks, you may not have time to do more than that. All right, next thing we do is evidence outside the document. This is when you're using kind of outside, you want to highlight this in yellow. It uses a historical fact not already in the documents and helps address the prompts. And then you also want to do for a second one, second historical fact not already in the documents and helps addresses the prompts. Okay, so you want to do that there. If you want to look at an example that I did, let's go back to the paper here. Okay, make this a little bit smaller so y'all can see a little bit better. All right. So here's an example. The passage of the Northwest Orders in 1787 was critical and showed the effectiveness of the AOC government in several ways. So to talk about the Northwest Orders, that was something outside of the document that was given in this sample DBQ. All right, let's go back over here. The next thing is going to be analysis and sourcing. Simply put, this is when you will do your hip or happy, depending on how you want to look at it. But I'm saying hip because these are literally the templates you want to use in the sense to where you say, for H, this is being influenced by. I, he is speaking to. The purpose of the statement is blah, blah, blah. He is saying this because. Some type of abbreviation of this, you guys want to do this for 2 documents, okay? If you do that, you want to make sure you highlight that in orange. You'll be pretty straight, good to go. So again, for 1 document, identifies how the historical situation, intended obvious purpose, or the author's background adds to or changes how the document is used to support your argument, all right? This is almost like your compare and contrast, if you will. You do the same thing for your second document. Let's go down to red. Now, this is the complexity portion. If you look at the outline I gave you, this is the last part. So here you will analyze and reasoning. This will be highlighted in red. Use the evidence to corroborate, qualify, or to modify an argument that addresses the prompt. Easiest way to do is argue against yourself. On the other hand, to say that, on the other hand, argue against yourself, you got that point. So you want to make sure you show critical analysis. The docs and sources doesn't just accept docs as a face value, looks at multiple sides of the issue. Again, on the other hand, understands what pieces of information are missing from the story, and also connects to other times or themes not in the prompt. Weaves multiple of above criteria throughout the essay and shows original, critical, under the surface thinking. So that's really what you guys want to do there. I think this would be a pretty good idea just for you guys to do. Again, you do this after you're done taking your test. You can have this up as far as a checklist if you want to. But honestly, if you have an outline up, this will be the same process you have here. You use this as a checklist to go back and say, you basically self-grading yourself, all right? So similar to what we do in the class as far as owning your grade, after every test, we do the QR code, talk about how you did on the test. This will be the same process you guys are doing here, okay? So you upload this to Google Classroom after the test is over with by that Monday by 11:59 that night, okay? So hopefully this helps you guys out. If you have any kind of questions or concerns, please make sure you let me know. Otherwise, hey, thanks a lot for everything you guys are doing. Thank you.